ways to connect with other people of that level, I'm okay with it. I think that's the better approach for this day and age. Because the other thing to look at, let's look at the metagame, if you will, of all games right now. Do you think games are getting easier or harder? And if you think they're getting harder, you're an idiot. The games that are being produced right now are all getting easier. So the population of gaming people at this day right now, they are more looking for a a pretty experience, a fun experience. They want some degree of success. They do not want a Battletoads. They do not want a Ninja Gaiden. They don't want these games where the reward is 55 hours of blood, sweat, and tears, and then finally you kill the guy. You know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense, and I hear you. And thank you so much for commenting on that. That's just one of the things I've been rifling around in my mind for the past year or so, since I've really been trying to get big into the community, and it's just nice to hear the insight on it. So and that definitely does make sense, and games definitely are becoming a lot easier these days, which is attracting a lot of the public sector. But you're absolutely right. It makes for the experience for the hardcore gamer a little bit less interesting. So
right.
Let's go ahead and move forward. What other questions we got? We got about 8 minutes until we can get these semifinals all started up. They're all waiting for us right now. So let's do it.
Yeah, I know you're busy in control, so I won't keep you too long. I'll ask a few more these last few questions. So someone asking, have you ever watched IMBAtv before? I'm generally curious about this one myself. I know you have a very busy schedule. But yeah.
I've got it opened up right now so I can see the chat. I like to do that when I do interviews or interact with the show, and you guys got a great production. I actually haven't watched it before, but I do recognize it. I've seen it. You guys are kind of a constant force over on the Team Liquid website. Always have your link up there, so it looks like you guys are doing something right, and you can bet your butt that I'll be watching in the future.
That's great, man. That's great to hear.
So we'll just finish up with these two. Flubber actually asking, do you have any routine to follow in examining your wins and losses? I know on your stream sometimes you watch replays a lot, but is game thinking involved with this? And he also says, how does he see the scouting in relation with your time response to what is your opponent doing? Does he consider StarCraft a modern chess, for example?
Yeah.
But I think what he's trying to ask is sort of, is it just replays? Or because a lot of people were saying that Idra's he did in the past evolve the kind of flash style back in Brood War, where he actually thought about the game quite a lot without actually playing it to kind of have that mentality of analyzing the game itself.
It's hard. It's fun for people to speculate on, but the honest answer here too is an unfortunate reality, which is just that I've been playing StarCraft for 14 years. So when I look at a StarCraft game, and this is going to come off as there's just no way escaping. This is going to come off as like this giant elitist thing to say, and I'm so smart, nobody understands, but it's just second nature for me. Idra, the only game he's ever played is StarCraft. He hasn't played it for 14 years. It's more like 5, but at the same time, this is all he's done. This is all he knows. This is where his brain is spilled into. So a lot of the professional gamers that you hear talk about analyzing their play, they actually can self-analyze their games and look at it and say, okay, well, this is exactly what went wrong, and I now know that I need to look at that. And then it goes into a pool of games where they're like, that's a repeating theme. For the last 15 games I've been having a tough time with this, and I need to work on that. So if that's true, then that's just that's a difficult hump to express to someone else for them to get over, I suppose. The other thing here, too, though, is a lot of pro gamers have very privileged positions as well, where when I watch a game, maybe Machine's over my shoulder, maybe the Muslim's over my shoulder, or if I'm at a LAN event, White Rock comes over and says, no, this is wrong, that was a dumb thing to do. He's not going to do that for everyone down the line, right? So I have a privileged position where I get to talk to a lot of top pro gamers, and they get to come over and laugh at my silly mistake or tell me I'm an idiot, and then we get to talk about what I need to do different. I mean, a good example would be after my PvPs against Sase at MLG, everything I did was okay, but they were done in the wrong order, and actually Kiwi Kaki, a really nice guy, came over and said, hey, when you do that Phoenix build, you have to go Zealot Sentry so that you have enough force field to block off the ramp if they want to do the bum rush. And that just completely revolutionizes my play. But if I'm not me, and if Kiwi Kaki's not him, that kind of information never gets to me, and who knows how much longer I struggle with that build, if not forever. Maybe I scrap it because I'm like, well, this doesn't work. and other players get access to that great build. So my best advice to players that are not at the pro gamer level is surround yourself with a community of players that are at or above your skill level, even if that's diamond, platinum, whatever. It doesn't have to be pro gamer, and eventually you'll level up, right? Eventually they'll help you get higher, and you'll keep surrounding yourself with better players, and then boom, you're on IMBAtv talking about what worse players can do to help themselves out.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll wrap this up with Minion D's question, which is more of the recent ones. So Season 4 has just hit. Obviously, you know, the Grandmaster's being reduced to a week now before you can get in rather than 2 weeks. The map pool has also changed. Now, Metalopolis in the beginning was removed because of some issue with Zerg's win rate previously, and they brought it back all of a sudden, and also edited, I believe it is Shattered Temple and Metalopolis, they do not have close positions.
Yeah.
So do you think that really affects you as a player, or you just kind of think, well, that's good for Zerg, but, you know, I don't really mind?
I think maps affect Zergs to a little bit more of a higher degree than other maps. Close positions on some of these maps are just absolutely ridiculous. Maps like Zelnaga Caverns, which obviously don't have true close positions, but are still really, really, really bad for Zerg. They needed to have a look at them, and I think Blizzard, they're slow and steady to the race, so to speak, but they finally got there. And taking out close positions on Metalopolis and Shattered Temple are a big help. Taking out Zelnaga Caverns, or excuse me, allowing us to thumb down Zelnaga Caverns because the other maps aren't so horrendous that we have to spin it on those ones, is a really good step for Zerg in particular. But honestly, this map pool is the best they've ever done. It's the best practice now more than ever for tournaments, and it's showing that Blizzard does listen and they're moving in the right direction, albeit slowly, but they're getting there, and I'm happy about that.
Well, that sounds very cool, man. Very cool indeed. I got one last one for you, and then we can let you go off with your busy day. I just wanted to ask, what's the most, what's the biggest thing that you're looking forward to in the next year of esports, and how it's been growing in the public sector, and how people are getting more into it? Bar crafts are getting bigger. The events are becoming more prize pool based, and you know, everything seems to be really blowing up for esports and StarCraft. What is your biggest anticipation in 2012 for esports in a whole?
Damn, dude, you're ending with a doozy.
I know. I gotta do it. I gotta do it, man. I gotta end that way.
That's good. That's good, man. Good showmanship. You know, it's hard to put my thumb on any one thing I'm looking forward to, but if there is anything, it's that my eyes have been opened, my expectations have been blasted through the roof. StarCraft 2 has raised the industry, the excitement, the competition. Like, I mean, look at some of the things people were saying. It was like, I don't know, will Brood War, will people fall back on Brood War? Maybe they will, because StarCraft's such a bad game, and it's so easy. Anyone can win with it. It's a 1A game. I mean, the criticisms that you can go back to the beta in the earlier were so ludicrous, and now nobody says that. It's not a 1A game. This is a frickin' hard game. There's a lot of talent, skill, nuance. It's a glorious game in that sense. I mean, you know, the golden era of Brood War, people will still say, I don't know, I think Brood War is harder, and they could be right. They probably are, but in this modern age, we have a game that is very, very difficult, and I'm really happy about that. So in 2012, I think the sky's the limit for StarCraft 2. Maybe we see it on TV. BlizzCon, look at that expectations. I mean, 13,000 people watching a StarCraft match. Maybe we fill a effing stadium in 2012. How cool would that be? It brings back OSL, MSL memories of seeing just hordes of people watching a giant screen of StarCraft. That could happen, and maybe in the West. That happened at BlizzCon, which I would cry 1,000 tears and, you know, beat the ground, do this whole dramatic thing. Like, that'd be the happiest moment in my life, is if StarCraft literally came to the West. Doesn't have to be America, but just somewhere other than Korea.
And it seems to really be gearing into that. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting a lot of the good, like, underground players actually exposing themselves and joining, like, big teams and great teams and stuff. And it seems to be moving into that. And I feel the same way, man. I feel like we could fill a stadium soon enough. I mean, there was, 33,000 and change people at BlizzCon? It was a mess, man. Me and Bazooka Benji were running around BlizzCon, and there's so many people there. I mean, Blizzard is just getting huge, and yeah, I'm definitely looking the same way for esports, man. It's looking great.
We've got Monster sponsoring. We've got Red Bull starting to get involved. These are lifetime, these are lifestyle sponsorships. We're going to have Idra at a BMX tourney in sunglasses getting out of his sports car. I mean, the what we thought was going to happen and where we're at now, nobody can take credit for that. They were like, oh yeah, 2011, StarCraft 2, wait and see. There'll be 16,000 people inside of a stadium in California watching a StarCraft match. No way, man. Nobody was there for that. So 2012, hopefully I'm one of the zany ones who's like, I don't know, ESPN 2, let's see the breakdown on this week's past tournaments. Like the thing they do on Team Liquid where they talk about prize winnings and the big winners. So what if they had that breakdown on ESPN 2, man? That'd be amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
Exciting stuff. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on. It's been great. Some really good insight there from you. And people should definitely check out his stream sometime, especially if you're a Protoss player. I've seen motherships. I've seen even the carrier used on by iNcontroL. So it's not a myth, guys. He does use them, but only until Heartless swarms out. But yeah, thanks, man, for coming on. And yeah, you've been awesome.
You guys
Any
got an
last
awesome
words?
show here. I see that Artis is facing Blast something for your
Tefel.
finals.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually the semifinal matchup going to be going down, and
semi.
we're throwing $250 into the ring on this one. So, hell yeah.
That's awesome, man. Good job. And you know what? Thanks for having me on. Shout out to Fire Silver for asking. A lot of times people ask me, how do we get our show more viewership? How do we do this stuff? You got to ask. StarCraft 2 is a fickle sport, right? Like people will flock to things they like and they'll stick there, but you got to introduce all the new stuff and different things to people. And when you do, they'll be like, "Hey, I kind of like that. I'll look towards it in the future." And that's how it spreads. So, props to him for going out and trying to do that for you guys. And good luck, man. You guys got an awesome show here, and I hope to see great things from you.
Thanks, and we look forward to talking with you a little bit more in the future. And thanks again, iNcontroL. And we're about to bring you guys some awesome StarCrack action right here, right now. So let's get into it.